Hello, everybody, and welcome to this Wisdom Wednesday. Today, our subject is going to be the importance of knowing your core values. So let me make sure I'm all set up here, and then we can get going. So what we're going to do today is we're going to look at the importance of core values. And maybe for you, it's going to be a new way to look at them or find them or recognize them and how you should and could think about them and use them every day. But first, a little reminder that you can live in harmony with the infinite wisdom that dreamed you into being, because this is the basis, the foundation for all that I do. And if you don't know me, my name is Carrie Fox, and one of my main missions in life is to be a constant reminder of your infinite wisdom connection. I also help people, especially wounded women, transition to being magnificent. And I do these little quick Wednesday quickies that sometimes trips my tongue because you're thriving. Well, that's my passion. So today's subject is going to look at some of the things that can assist or even stop you from your thriving. It has to do with that living in harmony with the infinite wisdom that dreamed you into being motto, because this whole life that we're involved in revolves around our feelings and vibrational frequencies that we put out when we are feeling certain things. When we're feeling joy, the frequency is high. When we're feeling sadness or upset, the frequency is low. So before I get into that too much further, I think I better, before I get into today's thing, talk about one more of Harmony Enterprises' foundational issues. And that is that you may have the belief that you are like the image on the left here, that you're a 3D human being on planet Earth, and that there's a small part of you that is your soul or your spiritual connection. But in reality, you're the image on the right. That this whole universe, God, source, filled with love universe is what you really are. And there's just this sliver of energy that comes down to the planet Earth at this particular point in time to be the 3D human being you. So the relationship of those two, by the way, I call it the divine partnership, is that you have this huge knowledge, love, energy side of you that is so much bigger than the itty bitty human being you that may or may not be having some conflicts down here on planet Earth. So we're going to use that a little bit in today in addressing your core values, because your infinite wisdom partner, when you are knows all about your passion and your purpose and your power and what you came here for and what your dreams are and what you promised to do while you're here. It's called your contract. It knows all of those things. So when you are out of harmony with your core values that you chose to have for this lifetime, for whatever you decided to do for your purpose, your divine partnership will nudge you to say, hey, you're kind of going in the wrong direction here. So I wanted to make sure that I brought that image into you so we could keep that in while we're doing this today. So what are 4 of the signs that you're living outside of the core virtues that you have? And one is that you are frequently compulsive or have neurotic behaviors, and that you feel like you're floundering, that you have a lack of personal direction or growth, that you might have a persistent addiction to food or drink or the media, and that you might have a hidden, sometimes well hidden, lack of self-worth. So discovering your core values can be a huge leap in overcoming these behaviors and any possible obstacles in your life. So you can be the best version of yourself once you are aware of and take advantage of, that's the right phrase, your core values. Knowing your values helps you to live a life full of meaning and purpose in whatever way that's going to look like for you. They highlight what you stand for. Your values guide your behavior and provide you with a personal code of ethics, a code of conduct. And when you honor your personal core values consistently, You experience fulfillment and joy because you're in alignment or harmony with that infinite wisdom. And when you don't, you feel out of sorts and are more likely to escape into those bad habits we talked about a moment ago. Now, our values should be so crystalline in our minds, so infallible, so precise and clear and unassailable that they don't even feel like a choice. They are simply a definition of who we are in our lives. In those hard moments, we know that we're going to pick what's right now over what's easy because we know our core values. And that's a quote from Brene Brown. I also have a quote that I found from Elvis Presley. Who knew we would be quoting Elvis Presley? He said, wisely, values are like fingerprints. Nobody's are the same, but you leave them all over everything that you do. Isn't that wise of him? As an example, now that I have this on my cheat sheet, I'm not sure. Okay, as an example, people who don't value human life are the ones that find it easy to pick up a gun and aim it at someone. But when you have your core values, there's a definition of success that goes along with them that says success is when your core values and your self-concept are in harmony with your daily actions and behaviors. So let's get into talking more deeply about core values. So I'd like you to think right now, can you identify your top 3 or 4 core values in your life? Do you really know what is more important for you? Your core values are at the very heart of who you are. Taking the time to discover your core values can change your life. It'll be like you're committed to living a life of a higher standard for yourself, that you're going to invest the time to reflect and get clarity on who you want to be. Who is your future self that you're going to create when you live a life in alignment with your core values? Excuse me. You'll also find your behavior and your attitudes changing once you have this focus. So allow me to share with you 4 simple steps to finding your core values. Step number 1, create your personal list of values. Now, that's a real simple sentence, but it's not a real simple thing to do. When you go to look at your core values, most of the time there are core value lists of words that are available on the internet. And there's hundreds, if not thousands of these lists on the internet. Most of them are 200, 300, 400 words long. Here's one, and this is only the top third of this article. So what I ask you to do for step number 1 is to go on the internet, find 1 or more list of values and print them out. And then give yourself 30 minutes to an hour to set aside other stuff and to actually sit down with a pen and circle the words that you feel have value for you, that you feel some connection with. Don't worry about making any judgments on them right now. Just circle the words that you think, oh my gosh, yes, I believe that. Yes, I like that. Yes, I like that. Just circle them for now. Most people find anywhere from 20, 40, 60, sometimes 100 words that are in their areas of values. And they often do things like make this meme that's here where they take out some of the best words and remind themselves of them. And then that makes you ready for step 2, where you want to really seriously narrow down this list of however many you have, 40, 50, whatever. And you want to get that down to 10 if you can, 20 maybe. And you'll do that by asking yourself some questions, like what values are essential in your lives? Now, one of my essential values is honesty. And I know so many people that choose that word as one of their values, and they lie all the time. So I kind of have to really sit back and say, What are they missing that they don't realize how often they lie? And I think it's because they really haven't gone over their core values. Being honest, to me, means that if you are in a relationship with someone, if you have a relationship with someone, if they are your father, your son, your sister, your best friend, if they ask you a question, you tell them the truth. If you're angry with them about something, you very lovingly tell them. That's being honest. If you have a family member who asks you the truth and you don't give it to them, then I got news for you. In my book, you're not an honest person. Anyway, so what you want to do is get these lists of names narrowed down. 10 would be wonderful if you can. Are they essential in your life? Do they really represent a core primary way of your being in the world? When you get them down to 10, 11, 15, whatever, you also may want to rank them a little bit to really identify which ones are really important to you and which ones you may have been slacking on, but you want to bring them back into focus in your life and stand up for them again. And that takes us ready to move on to step number 3. You want to get even closer. And to do that, you try to uncover the source of why. Why do you think that value is important to you? Does this value really make a difference in your life? Creative self-expression, a strong level of health and vitality, a sense of excitement or adventure. Those words have very strong meanings for some people and not for others. Do you need to be surrounded by beauty? Do you want to always be learning something? Is learning really important to you? And while you're asking yourself, why do I think this particular word is important to me? Sometimes it also helps to look at the past and see where that word came into your life. Has it come into your life multiple times? Has it come into your life because of some event that happened to you? Whatever the case may be, do some writing and look at each one of the words that you're picking and really find out if that's really one of your core value words. And this is at the stage in the game where it's usually pretty good to set this aside and come back to it tomorrow. Find some time tomorrow to come back to it and see if whatever you've written down is still holding true for you. Core values are the heart of your why. Number 4 is a time to connect with and uncover your very most personal, high-ranking core values. Some people come up with 2. I have 3 to 5. 4 and 5 are very common. But you want to get it down to absolutely the deep heart, soul side of you important core values. Which of the values feel soul connected? Can you prioritize this value that you're looking at over other values? Sometimes it gets down to 2 words and you've got to say to yourself, if I had to choose between A and B, which would it be? Get this down to the most important values in your life. So then, again, it's time to set it all aside. And after a good night's sleep, review your list, read over your words, see how they make you feel. Are they consistent with who you are and who you want to be? Are they personal for you? And at this stage in the game, most people have come up with 3 words that absolutely they can say, these are my core values. These are what I honor. These are what I treasure. These are what it's important to me. And of course, remember, nothing is ever really final. So, you may look at this again in a year and find out that one of your core values have changed. But finding out your 3 most important core values is so important. So here's an example. If you have a value of health, but you also have a value of, let's say, impulse control in your eating, okay? For somebody who values comfort over health, they would stuff themselves and do comfort food eating and not think about what that's doing to their body. But to somebody who has health as a high priority, then that comfort food thing doesn't ever get to the point of challenge, because your health is so important to you if it's one of your core values. I hope that made sense. So, generally, it takes a few days, if not a few weeks, to reflect on these results before coming to any definitive conclusions about your values. Within 1 week, you can be pretty delighted with your choices of your personal core values defined by your character and are aligned with your passions and your purpose in life. So now, how to use your core values once you have discovered them. I was going to say erected them. I don't know where that was going to come in here. So how will you use your core values? Well, you can use them to motivate you. You can use them to help you move past your challenges. I've got a challenge here. My core values tell me this. It'll help you with making those tough decisions. It'll help you as a tool in your daily mindfulness practices to remember to bring in your core values so that every day your core values are brought up into your consciousness, and it can strengthen your relationships with people. So it's not hard to make decisions when you know what your values are. And this was Steve Jobs recognized that if you're working on something and it's really exciting to you, you really care about it, you don't have to be pushed into doing it, because the vision of it pushes you. It's a part of your core values. Many people use their core values to make vision boards or manifestos like this one. To take it even further, you can craft your personal core values into phrases or statements. Here it's think big, ask questions, support the team, deliver excellent service, little phrases. I have one manifesto that I created for my group that's all sentences. Now, creativity comes into this part here of helping to highlight your core values into memorable phrases or sentences. And it gives you an opportunity to add the value of other words that were in the same category as the one that you ended up with. And you want to use inspiring words to make these sentences. So put your strengths in there, craft your values, make your value statements rich and meaningful. Here's another one that uses phrases for someone to remember their core values. Not remember is a terrible word to use right there. To be constantly reminded of your core values, kind of like nudging yourself. Here's another one. Sentences and phrases. Knowing your core values is like having your own personal North Star. You know which direction to go because you have identified your core soul values. You have more clarity of vision. You make better decisions. You'll be more aligned with your ideas. You're going to experience more beautiful fulfillment. You're going to transcend when that magnetic pull comes and happens that wants to pull you down and lower your standards. You can say, nope, that's below my standards. My core values tell me that I need to stand for this, and I do stand for this. Here's another example of a vision board using your core values. Lost my ability to speak here, huh? Be a legend, be you. Here's some I found that they're starting to use in schools. How delightful. Here's loyalty and persistence and compassion and respect and inclusion. Great examples of displaying your core values. Here's another one that takes your core values, that's the big words, and then have other words, lesser words to make phrases and sentences around it. Knowing and understanding and using your core values in everything that you say and do helps you to live in harmony with the infinite wisdom that dreamed you into being. So that's today's episode. It's all about the importance of knowing your core values. And it's brought to you by my Facebook group, which is Falling in Love with Life Again. It's where if you find that you're finally sick and tired of being sick and tired of feeling wounded or broken, then it's time to join this group of amazing women and heal your wounds. It's time to mend your broken heart. If you're interested, the page is facebook.com/groups/falling in love with life again. And next week, our Wisdom Wednesday is going to be Goodbye, Negative Nelly. Whether you have a negative Nelly in your life or whether you catch yourself being a negative Nelly, join me next week. It should be interesting. So I want to thank you for joining me today. I hope you're inspired by the content of these Wisdom Wednesdays. And remember, you are the creator of your fabulous tomorrows. Your thriving is my passion. But I can't really end this today without one more thing. I put it at the end because I was afraid I was going to cry. We need to honor Ruth Bader Ginsburg's life and passing. Her body lies in state today outside the Supreme Court, being honored as a pioneer of women's rights, who just stood tall against injustice, who brought our nation several steps closer to liberty and justice for all. She was a role model of an American who completely embraced her core values and fought for them in her quiet little voice, fought for those core values all the days of her life. Rest in peace, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. May America be strong enough to continue to fight the evil you fought so strongly against. And you can honor her strength and her tenacity by voting Democratic for Joe Biden, along with thousands, hopefully millions of Republicans who fell for it once and they're not going to fall for it again. Vote, honor before November 3rd. I love you. Bye for now.